Our topic for today is water. So, there are three states of water. What are they? Water is present in solid state, liquid state, and gaseous states. Right? So, quickly answer some questions. First question is, what happens when a spoonful of sugar, sawdust, and soil are added to a glass of water? What will happen? Can you tell? So, if a spoonful of sugar, sawdust and soil when added to glass of water, after stirring, sugar will get dissolved into the water, while sawdust and soil are not miscible with water. So, they appear in the solution of sugar only. If this glass is remain for some times without any disturbance, then what will happen? Then, because of low density of sawdust, it will be floating on the top of the glass, while soil, due to the mixture of clay and dust, will be shown in the bottom of the glass. So what is the answer? Sugar get dissolved and soil, sawdust does not get dissolved. Next question is, what is done to make drinking water clean and safe? Yes, boiling is the process which is done to make the drinking water clean and safe, so that the microorganisms present in the water is killed by the process of boiling. So what is pollution of water? When other substances get mixed with water, water becomes impure, right? Some of these substances float in the water. So the water looks unclean or muddy. Some substances dissolve in the water and we cannot see them, right? If the substances that have got mixed with the water are harmful for living things, we can say that the water has become polluted. So basically water pollution happens when toxic substances enters the water bodies such as lakes, rivers and oceans. You can see some pictures of the water pollution over here. So how is basically the water getting polluted? It is because of disposal of wastewater. So the wastewater of a city or a town is collected together and it is let into a water body at a convenient location. So these wastewater from residential buildings as well as from factories and industries contain many kinds of impurities. So some of this dissolve in the water while some does not dissolve in the water. So sewage water carry microorganisms that spread diseases. Wastewater from industries is more likely to contain poisonous substance. So you can see the picture. This water is containing the poisonous substances in it. If all this wastewater is let into the water bodies as it is, the water body become polluted and that is dangerous. As you can see in the picture, if the wastewater is let into the water bodies, it can cause threat to an aquatic life. See how the fishes are dying because of letting the wastewater into the water bodies? And also, such water cannot be used for drinking or for any other purposes as well. That is why it is very much compulsory for factory owners to treat the water before letting it out. Similarly, sewage and other wastewater of towns and cities is processed for purification before letting it into a water body. These helps to prevent pollution of water. Okay. Flowing water of river gets purified to some extent by natural processes. Before water is supplied to a town or city, it is first purified. So how it is purified? So firstly, so you can try this, how we can purify the water. Take a plastic bottle, tie a clean piece of cloth over its mouth. As you can see, the red color cloth is tied over the mouth. Hold the bottle upside down, then pour some powder coal into it. You can see the charcoal which is present, that is powder coal. Then add fine sand. After that, add coarse sand to make 3 different layers. As you can see, there are 3 different layers formed inside the bottle as shown in the figure. So this is a simple method for filtering water. Now place the bottle on its lower cut off portion as shown in the figure. Now pour some muddy water containing some rubbish water slowly into this bottle. See, contaminated water is being poured from upper side. Observe the water that flows into the base of the bottle. Now, what do you see? The water coming down in the container which is present below. The water in it is very much clean. Of course, you have learned that there could be microorganisms in it. So, how to treat that? So, for that, water works come into the picture. Purification of water is very much necessary. So there are many steps which are used in purification of water as shown. So firstly, as you can see in the figure, these all are the steps of purification of water. Let's see them in detail. So first is settling. So what is done? The water from the water source is allowed to stand in a large tanks. You can see the large tanks. So the water is allowed to stand over there. Then alum is also used to help the process of settling. So alum is added to each of the tanks so that the water settles down. Next process is oxygenation. So air and water are allowed to mix with the help of the pumps into the water. This causes oxygen from the air to dissolve in the water. Next process is filtration. Water is filtered using a filtration machine. Next process is chlorination. So you can see the red color chlorine tablets. So yes, chlorine is mixed in the water to kill the germs in it. Okay, now you got how the microorganisms are killed. So these all are the processes of purification of water. Let's see a new terminology, that is famine. What is famine now? So water evaporates continuously. That is why places where it does not rain for a long time experience a drought. Okay, at such places the water level falls in the rivers, as you can see in the picture. The water level falls in the wells. See, the well is empty. The water level falls in rivers, lakes and dams. You can see everything is empty due to the drought, due to the famine condition. Some of these may even go very much dry. The land also dries up due to the evaporation. See, there are so much of cracks on the land. Why it is? Because there is no water, hence there is no moisture of soil. So the water is being evaporated, hence the land is being cracked, the land is dried up. Also, humans and animals suffer from the scarcity of water. There is no water for agriculture. Hence, together, these all conditions is called as famine. Famine is what? Famine is a natural disaster. You must have heard or read about a famine in your state also or in your country. So people living there have to face a lot of hardship. Animals and plants in those plants also suffer. What is the solution for that? The government helps them. The government temporarily moves people and animals from famine-stricken areas to safe places where they can be provided with water, food grains and fodder. Fodder camps are set up. See, you can see that green color camps. Yes, all these camps are called as fodder camps. They are set up to take care of the domestic animals. So, because of all these conditions, we must save the water because rain brings us water again and again. But we get rain only for 4 months in a year. If water is not stored, we will not have water for our daily needs after the rains. So, to meet the whole year's need for water, rainwater must be stopped, must be collected somewhere. So when it is stopped, it percolates into the soil. As the groundwater storage increases, trees gets water. So this is one of the process by making the rainwater seep into the soil. Next method. So next way of water management is that large dams can be built. As you can see on the upper part, whenever there is rain, so the water is collected in this upper part over here. And whenever the water is required, so the doors of the dams are open and the water is let down into the reservoirs, as you can see. But that may not be possible in all places. It is not possible to construct or to build the large dams, right? So in that event, the government and people come together and undertake several works, such as they build these types of smaller reservoirs to collect the water. Building of counterbunding is done. As you can see how the counterbunding is done, and in that the water is being collected. Also, the stopping of water is done of the smaller streams by constructing bunds or the bandharas. You can see this, it is called as bandharas. So by this the water can be managed or stored or collected. In some places, wells are dug in riverbeds to allow water to collect in them. And the another method is that rainwater falling on the roofs of houses is drained into the large tank. See, the rain which is coming from the roof, it is being collected into the tank. By using all such method, it helps us to store as much water as possible. So you must always remember that water is life. So you should use it wisely, or you should use it judicially. So what we have learned from this chapter, that when the substance that are harmful, so let's quickly revise what we have learned from this chapter. So firstly, when the substance that are harmful for living things gets mixed with water, the water becomes polluted. Yes, before wastewater is let into the water bodies, it is processed in many ways to prevent their pollution. Means it is treated, as we saw how the water is been treated in the water works before letting it into the water bodies. Hence we can prevent the pollution by it. Before the water is supplied to public, the dissolved and undissolved substances in it are separated at the water works, as we have seen, and the germs in it are destroyed by the method of chlorination. And nextly, if it does not rain for a long time, it leads to what? It leads to drought and famine. Famine conditions affect humans as well as animals and plants of that region also. What do you mean by water management now? Water management means stopping or storing water or letting it percolate into the ground to make it available even after the rainy season. So that's it for today's topic. Thank you.